Title: The Bench by the Canal. The rain had been falling for hours, soft and persistent, painting the cobbled streets of Bruges with a silver sheen. Under the dim glow of a crooked old street lamp, an elderly man named Mr. Bernard sat on a bench beside the canal, his long coat soaked at the edges. People passed him by. Some glanced, others didn't, but no one stopped. Except one. Sophie, a curious 16-year-old with sharp eyes and a sketchbook always tucked under her arm, had noticed him 3 days in a row at the exact same spot, same time, same silence. Something about him didn't sit right. His posture was too heavy. His eyes stared at the water as if waiting for it to answer a question no one else could hear. That Thursday, Sophie hesitated. She was supposed to be meeting her friends at the waffle shop near Market Square, but instead she walked toward him. "Excuse me," she said gently. "Are you all right?" Mr. Bernard blinked slowly, as though waking from a distant dream. He turned to her, his blue eyes tired but not unkind. "You're not from around here, are you?" "I just moved here from Lyon. My mom works at the city archive." He gave a small nod. "This town forgets nothing, yet remembers selectively." Sophie tilted her head. "That sounds like a riddle." "It's a warning," he murmured. For reasons she didn't understand, Sophie sat beside him. The rain drizzled, but the overhang of a willow tree shielded them. "Why do you sit here every day?" she asked. Mr. Bernard took a deep breath. "Because 30 years ago, this is where Elise disappeared." Sophie froze. "Disappeared?" "She was my wife. We were both teachers. One evening, she told me she'd uncovered something at the school. Fraud, possibly worse. That night, she never came home." Sophie's heart thudded. "Did they investigate?" "They did. Briefly, too briefly. The headmaster claimed she left town, took a train. No trace of her was ever found." He exhaled. "The town moved on. I never could." That night, Sophie couldn't sleep. Her thoughts swirled with Elise, a school, a canal, and a town that remembered too little. She searched the city archives after school the next day. No mention of Elise Bernard. No photo. No staff record from 1994. It was as if she never existed. The deeper Sophie dug, the stranger it got. The school's files for that entire year were lost in a fire. No report. No insurance claim. No follow-up. She returned to the bench the next day, trembling with energy. "Mr. Bernard," she said. They erased her. His eyes didn't widen, but a slow nod gave away the relief. "You found it too? Why didn't you tell the police?" "I did. They stopped returning my calls. I was labeled senile. That's when I became the old man by the canal." Sophie stared into the water, then back at him. "I want to help." He smiled faintly. "You already have." Over the next week, they combed through whispers of town records. Sophie sneaked into restricted archives, using her mother's credentials. One day they found it, a newspaper clipping with a photo of a school teachers group. Among the cheerful faces was a woman with dark eyes and a wide smile. Elise. But the caption read, "Teachers of St. Bartholomew, 1989. Names withheld. "Do you recognize anyone else?" Sophie asked. Mr. Bernard pointed. "The man beside her, Headmaster Alain Brecht. He's the one who declared her missing." Sophie's pulse quickened. "Is he still alive?" "He owns a vineyard now, just outside Bruges." They made the trip 3 days later. Mr. Bernard stayed outside while Sophie knocked on the ornate wooden door. A tall, composed man in his 70s answered. "Yes?" Sophie hesitated. "I'm doing a project on the history of St. Bartholomew's School. I saw your name in a clipping." A flicker of irritation danced across Brecht's face. "That school's long gone. No use digging into dead brick and buried names. But I came across a woman named Elise Bernard." Before she could finish, he slammed the door. Sophie rushed to tell Mr. Bernard. He panicked. "Then we're close." That night, Sophie heard a knock at her window. It was Mr. Bernard, breathless. "They found out. Someone broke into my house." Sophie's skin prickled. "Who?" "I don't know, but they were looking for the archives we copied." They had only one copy left, hidden in Sophie's sketchbook. The next day, they snuck into Brecht's vineyard. There, in the wine cellar behind rows of old bottles, they found it. Boxes of sealed files, labeled confidential. St. Bartholomew, 1994. Inside, forged resignation letters, altered student grades, tuition embezzlement records, and lastly, a report written by Elise Bernard, dated 2 days before she vanished. Sophie stared at the name at the bottom, filed by E. Bernard, but that wasn't all. Attached was a letter, unsigned. "If this ever sees light, tell Bernard I'm sorry. I chose silence, not because I didn't care, but because I feared for my life. What we did to her, what I let happen, haunts me every day. The paper trembled in Sophie's hands. They took the files to the regional press. The editor, a woman in her 40s, cried when she saw Elise's photo. I remember her. I was 12 when she vanished. My father worked at the school. He said it was dangerous to ask questions. The next week, the headline hit the news. Truth unveiled. Missing teacher exposed elite school corruption. Bruges reacted. Protests erupted. A fresh investigation was opened. Brecht's vineyard was seized. But most importantly, Elise Bernard's name was returned to history with honor. The following Sunday, Sophie met Mr. Bernard at the canal bench. They've reopened her case, she whispered. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I waited 30 years for someone to believe me, and it was you. Sophie hugged him. I just followed curiosity. No, he said, holding her hands. You followed your heart. As the church bells rang across the canal and sunlight bathed the ancient walls, Mr. Bernard stood tall for the first time in decades. Morals of the story. 1. Curiosity backed with kindness can unlock long-buried truths. 2. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can give someone is belief. 3. Sincerity and friendship have the power to rewrite even the darkest stories. 4. Age doesn't define relevance. Truth can be championed at any stage of life. 5. One person's determination can shake a silent town awake. If the story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's more in the vault, and every sketch tells a deeper story.